Hello, 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 Love Revolution beloveds. Y'all, you often hear me say I'm so excited about interviewing people. And yes, anyone who comes on Love Revolution, it's always such a delight and such a joy. However, however, this lady right here, this lady has my heart. If you
Oh,
all knew how much Betsy Clark knows about me, I mean,
it's
she is,
great. I
she
may tell it.
She is the vault. She is the vault. And the fact that she is here, I am fangirling a little bit, I will admit. And just to have this amount of time with her to talk about how she's infusing her life and her business with love, I am delighted and overjoyed that you're here, Betsy. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I was like, woo, let's go, girl. Come on,
Yes. Yes, 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 yes,
bring
yes,
it.
yes. Okay, so we can go in a million different directions. And also, folks, really want about a 15-minute interview. And so you've got to pick your juiciest
Mhm.
tidbits. Sometimes if people say juicy, I just immediately think Betsy Clark every time. And so I think, that there's some juiciness in there for you. So whichever direction you want to go, like I'm giving you no direction, just like what is most resonating with you that you want to share with us.
I'm so glad you gave me an open end because I've been thinking, what are we going to talk? I mean, how do you corral the two of us into 15 minutes? That is the question of the hour. So I really wanted to distill it down to something that's unique, I think, is most of us have a hard time pondering comparison
Hmm.
because it usually doesn't bode well for us because we usually turn comparison on ourselves.
Mhm.
And so we do the whole thing. We compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel, all that sort of stuff. And Eleanor Roosevelt and her quote, no one can make us feel inferior without our consent, and we give our consent when blah, 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 blah. And you talk about a topic and you think, well, maybe I need to have a different concept. Maybe I need to be talking about something else. And I keep coming back to comparison. It's been like 15 years I've been talking. It
Uh,
just doesn't go away because I've wrestled with comparisonitis the
mm,
majority of my life. I come from a very well-educated family. They're high achievers. They're contributors. They're doctors. They're lawyers. They're judges. They're this, they're that,
mm,
vice president of this corporation. And, sometimes we just don't feel like we measure up. And how this relates to love is it is so unkind and so unloving
mhm.
to turn comparison on ourselves.
Right. That's exactly right.
And
That's
I say that and I get chills because I think it's something we need to be discussing,
Mhm.
giving women permission to unhook from this chronic disease of comparisonitis.
Yes.
And I want to be part of the number that when people compare, it helps them up level as
Yes.
opposed to spin out and circle the drain because there is so much anxiety in our culture today. And I think love is the thing
Yes.
that turns that around. And how can we love ourselves enough
Mhm.
that if we do fall into the trap of comparison, we can turn it around quickly? It isn't about our stuff, it's about the impact. So you know, have you heard imposter syndrome before?
I have heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a common thing that we talk about.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as an imposter syndrome.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
It's an imposter experience.
Huh. Oh,
So, for
that's a
instance,
perspective shift.
oh, big time, my friend, my favorite word, perspective, aside from love, hope, and a few others, juicy. Boy, I got off on that one. Anyways, I
But
can,
about imposter syndrome, that it's not a
oh,
syndrome.
well, it's an experience. And so I was just telling you before we recorded this, I'm so excited I can't even talk. I'm going to a meeting with some very high level, highfalutin women, and we were laughing. I was like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen at that meeting. They're all so educated. It's all my triggers."
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, it's okay to have that flush of emotion.
Yeah.
It's just a learning. It's a way to, oh, pay attention.
Yeah.
This is something that you can learn from. Maybe you shouldn't be dreading. Maybe you shouldn't be comparing in advance. What happens if you go in open,
Mhm.
open to possibility,
Mhm.
open to whatever is there, as opposed to dreading and comparing? Because I'm certainly not as educated as they are. So I can have a teeny little experience of feeling like an imposter. I don't belong at the table, but it's not a syndrome. And I don't have to carry that stigma
Yes.
for the rest of the year.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And Dr. King talks about you can have PhDs and no Ds and anywhere in between, and that we all can be so loving. There's all these different ways.
You did that again when I took a drink.
Not intentionally, not
Almost went on my
intentionally,
screen.
but it is that way that we can love ourselves enough. So love is letting ourselves voluntarily evolve, letting others voluntarily evolve, and understanding that we are exactly where we are meant to be and walking in the fullness of who we are. I cannot tell you how many decades I spent trying to tamp down emotions that I thought were not positive. When in actuality, I needed to let them sit and bubble. I needed to acknowledge them. And then I needed to say, thank you for trying to keep me safe. And also, here's this other choice. Because there's another Roosevelt that says, comparison is the thief of joy.
Do like that quote.
And so when we are comparing, we're giving up our joy. We're giving up loving ourselves.
Absolutely. So joy, peace, love, that's just the perfect trifecta. And
Yeah.
how do we go forth living life in the midst of that trifecta?
Yeah.
It takes intention, it takes awareness,
Mhm.
and it takes feeling the feels, but not getting stuck with them. The
Yes.
feels don't define us.
Yes,
They're just
exactly.
a flush of
Exactly.
emotion or thought.
Yeah.
We don't have to tie ourselves to that for the rest of our lives.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
stay stuck.
Plus, one of the things about you is you look for opportunities. Opportunities do come to you, but also you look for them, and then you keep saying yes until it's no longer the right thing. And that's what you teach in your coaching, that's what you teach in your practice, that's what you've done your entire professional career. Is you have continued to say, this is my next right step, and this is my next right step. And sometimes we look back and we go, well, I don't really like that trajectory because it's not linear. And, and what in the world is linear? If you can look back and go, okay, everything is perfect and linear, how much of a risk were you taking? Exactly. Exactly.
You
Where
know
the
what?
pitfalls.
You know what linear is? It's a word in a dictionary. That's as much space and grace as I give it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing is, if we would give ourselves grace,
Ah, like a grace card. Yes.
give ourselves grace to make the best decision that we can in the moment,
Mhm.
with all the facts at hand, and to wrestle with all the facts that we have, and mix them up a little bit and see what our options are and pick the best one, then we can take the next best step. And then, 4 steps down the road, we're going to get more information. So then you assess and you compare and contrast. That's where comparison is a good thing. You compare and contrast with what was, 4 or 5 days ago and where you are right now. Does that still pertain to the decision and the trajectory you're taking? Because there are these nuances that are so subtle
Yes,
that can, over time, a little like 1 degree over time can really get us off course.
that's right.
We have to always be looking and assessing our decisions and making sure that they're relevant, current, and that we're on track. And so it isn't about making a mistake or blowing it or missing it or any of that stuff. It's just, what do I do now? What do I do
Yes.
now? And
Yes.
that's being present, not only to your life, but to your business, your personal life, you're the very essence of who you are.
Hmm. 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 So many people are floating through their life or floating through their business and they're just on autopilot. And it's just like la di da, and your focus on intentionality is so powerful because it's a constant choice. It's being constantly present. It's not checking out. It's not, it's not, we talk about delegating versus abdicating. It is saying I am present in this moment and this is what's best for me. And I absolutely love that.
Well, I think that's how you live a juicy life.
Mhm.
Because again, linear is just a word in the dictionary as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what a setup to think that life is linear. I mean, there's that whole thing. It isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. Well, that's trite. And you know why it's trite? Is because it's a truth that doesn't go away.
That's right.
I'll be happy when I arrive. I'll be happy when I make 1 million. I'll be happy when I lose 50 pounds. I'll be happy when I find the man of my dreams. I'll be happy when I'm a mother or,
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
What about right now?
Yeah.
I think of Mary Oliver's quote, what is it you plan to do with this one wild and precious life? That's a constant
Yeah.
question. You know that about me. I'm constantly asking myself that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't have to be so rigid. Well, I made this decision and I'm going to stick with it. Gall darn it.
Right.
That's a recipe
Right.
for closed-mindedness and rigidity and dogma and all those other words that I don't want attached to me.
And because you and I are both lifelong learners, then we're constantly getting new information.
Mhm.
And I have watched you do this many, many, many times, and I have learned this from you. When I get a piece of information that comes in that contradicts something that I already know, I don't immediately go, nope, done, shut it down. I start thinking about how can I incorporate that in? What does that look like? Sometimes I then do reject it, but sometimes it's like, oh, I need a perspective shift, like your kaleidoscope. I need to make room for that. So when people say, how can you possibly carry the emotion of 8 billion people loving 8 billion people? It's not emotion, it's cognitive. It's 100% a choice. It is a commitment. And the power of, again, the intentionality, the power of love in every single day.
Well, and it's one heart at a time.
Yeah.
You're not reaching all 8 billion people. I think we have a tendency when we've been given a big calling or goal or dream or whatever you want to call it, we think we have to do it all yesterday.
Mhm.
Yes, it's about the destination, but it's the journey. Life is a journey. My dad lived to be 100. And until he was like, I don't know, 95, he was driving everywhere and he was doing this and he was doing that and he was part of this board and in this group. And, he was active because every day counted.
Yes. Yes.
I,
Yes.
that's just,
Yeah.
my brother-in-law said he lived a quietly extraordinary life. And I
Um,
think what a beautiful
yeah.
term to be attached to you.
May that be said about me.
Yeah. Well, I want it to be a little bit juicier than quietly extraordinary, but juicily extraordinary?
Yes, yes, yes. The juicy, extraordinary life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm gonna start calling you Jelly. You're the you're the juicy, extraordinary life. Oh,
Better,
yes, 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 yes.
better belly.
Love Revolution, beloveds. Y'all know I could talk to my sister for about 3 hours and or longer. I mean, we've been known to talk longer than that. This has just been a tiny little snippet about Betsy. Tell them how they can get in touch with you, how if they want to connect with you, learn more about you, how they can best do that.
Well, thanks for asking that. They can go to my website, which is coach, the number two, and strengths, that's plural, .com. And they can set up a time to have a chat with me. They can sign up and get some grace cards. There's so many fun things on my website. I really love my web designer. I think they've done
Oh,
a great job. So come visit. I'd love to have a conversation with you. This has just been a joy. So thank you, Dr. Roz.
thank you, Betsy Clark. I love you, love you, love you, love you.
You.
All right. Love Revolution, beloveds. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the mission of 8 billion people, loving 8 billion people, one heart at a time.